All right. If you're listening right now, you need to share, like, subscribe to the podcast, rate it. Tell us, kind of give us some feedback as to how you're liking the episodes. Just share.
It was a young kid that said, "Your mama's so fat, Thanos had to snap his fingers twice." These kids are going to be okay.
It all begins and ends with Vader. Vader is amazing. I love Vader. Vader's the best.
Yeah, Nubian God.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
After school special. We're talking about today A New Hope and Empire Strikes Back, kind of what we, nostalgia-wise, what we remember growing up when we were introduced to this stuff. We all are fans. We all saw this when we were really young, and then the special edition came out. But I'm going to touch on each little subject here. First, we're going to do New Hope and kind of go back and forth with each of us and talk about what we remember in our past about Star Wars, A New Hope. Lucas had the idea for a science fiction film similar to Flash Gordon, which, if you've ever seen Flash Gordon, it's amazing, and you need to see it. He came up with this idea around THX 1138, which stars Robert Duvall, I believe. Or maybe it's some weird British guy that, I don't know. I just remember Robert Duvall being bald, but, you know, most bald guys look like Robert Duvall. I don't know.
He didn't have the same hairpiece he had in The Godfather?
No.
And that one was Robert Duvall, Donald Pleasence.
Yep, that's Donald Pleasence, who's in Halloween.
I tried to make it fancy, Pleasence.
He completed his first film, THX 1138, and then he started working on the treatment for Star Wars after the release of American Graffiti, which was in 1973. Star Wars focuses on a Luke Skywalker. He meets Obi-Wan Kenobi and a smuggler Han Solo. They need to get off that friggin' sand planet. And his Wookiee companion Chewbacca. Okay, I'm going to do this a little bit differently because I know I'm going to have fucking assholes being like, he doesn't know what Star Wars is about because I'm doing it willy-nilly. I really don't give a shit. But, you know, Star Wars, Journey of Luke Skywalker, who along with the Jedi Master Obi-Wan Kenobi, smuggler Han Solo, and Chewbacca, attempt to free Princess Leia from the clutches of the Empire. At the same time, the heroes tried to deliver the plans for the Death Star, and once they get the Death Star, they get in their X-Wings and blow that motherfucker up. And also they have to face opposition against the Sith Lord Darth Vader.
Do they use the term Sith in that movie? I can't remember.
I don't think that they ever did. They said dark side, light side. I don't think they use Sith until Phantom Menace.
Episode 1?
Yep. I don't think you never hear the word Sith. You hear light side and dark side.
Yes.
Right. So that's that term derives from books, or is that term derived from the original screenplay?
So the treatment that was written for A New Hope, like Lucas wrote it, and then the way that he explains it, he did Empire, Return of the Jedi, but then started working on the prequels during that time too. And then came up with they had Jedi. Sith was the, antithesis? I don't know what the word is, but was the opposite.
Antithesis.
Yes.
We're like the jockiest nerds. I just come to realize that.
Hey, man.
The nerds are going to eat us up on this episode. Oh, my God.
I really like Yu-Gi-Oh, bro. It's fucking awesome, bro.
Fucking Jedi.
Yeah, fucking Jedi, bro. Now, do you guys remember... I'm sure you guys remember, before we get into, like, when you guys first saw it, but the big debate over who shot first, because Lucas changed who shot first in the special edition, New Hope.
Yeah, with Greedo, right?
Yep. The Han shot first. That motherfucker shot first. That was what was so great. Yeah, that was what was so great about Han Solo. He was a piece of shit. Smuggler.
Yeah. He was a scoundrel, man.
Yeah.
Which is funny because, you know, I didn't care less if he had redeeming qualities. I just liked that Han was Han. Like, his swagger, the way he carried himself. Like, I'm just in it for the coin. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And then eventually it wrapped around to him and Leia.
But the whole arc with Han Solo, that's why I liked him. You know, like he was a piece of shit, and then he helps the Rebel Alliance. But yeah, what do you guys as kids remember? You know, going into this?
I remember growing up. I don't remember if I saw it on sci-fi or where, because I think I was late to it. When I saw it, I was just intrigued by all these weird-looking creatures and stuff, because, you know, there aren't really too many blacks in sci-fi, you know, so it's kind of hard to really get into something when you don't see a reflection of yourself. Now, I'm not saying that you always have to do that, but as a kid, I always looked for someone who looked like me. And I think that wasn't until they introduced Billy D later on.
Landau Calrissian.
There are 2 rules to remember if you want to have a good time. Rule number 1, never run out of Colt 45. Rule number 2, never forget rule number 1.
Landau Cal, even the name is fucking sexy as fuck. Landau Calrissian. You know what I'm saying? Like, wore a cape, had a blouse on. You know what I'm saying? My man made the blouse hip. You know. Yeah, as far as A New Hope, I got into it because I liked R2-D2. Everybody has a favorite character in the Star Wars series, but mine has always been R2-D2 and Chewie. I love those two. Like, if I can hang out with those two, I'd be straight. You know what I'm saying? Like,
how old were you when you first saw it, John?
So I would have to say I was maybe 11 or 12. I was late, man.
Me too.
I was late to
I think
this.
that's a perfect time to see it, though.
Yeah. So I was 11 or 12 when I saw this, and I just fell in love, man, and I had to see the next one. And the other thing was James Earl Jones. I thought that was James Earl Jones.
So did I.
In the Darth Vader costume. I was like, wow, this dude is a fucking badass, man. Like, I thought that was James Earl Jones in the costume. And, I mean, that voice, Darth Vader's voice, I mean, dude, that scares the shit out of me, man. That breathing and everything. Like, I have a new... I don't want to get too far off, but I have a new appreciation for Darth Vader after seeing Rogue One.
I feel like 10 to about 12 is the perfect age to watch Star Wars, because you can appreciate it but still have that childlike imagination, and that's exactly the age that I watched it. And I watched it on regular TV with commercials and shit.
I think that's how I saw it, dude. I can't remember, but I think
that was before I had cable. Shit that you take for granted now. Yeah, but I saw Empire Strikes Back first, and my mom made me watch it, and I'm like, well, what am I watching? And honestly, this shit grabbed me immediately. It was because of the music. I don't know why, but back then, if the music wasn't good, like the theme music, I didn't really gravitate towards it as a child. So the music was hitting, the fucking costumes was hitting, and my favorite was, of course, Luke, because he was, he was the good guy. So I saw his ass get his fucking hand cut off and find out who was his real dad.
Yeah,
and it was like this. It fucking totally changed the game. So I kind of went backwards. I went Empire Strikes Back, then I went Last Jedi, and then I saw New Hope last, which is weird. But when I finally saw New Hope, and I saw how Skywalker was flirting with Leia and Luke was, they were flirting with each other. I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah,
what the
like,
hell are you guys doing?
So
I thought that was so weird.
I don't think there was an original plan, because he wrote this treatment in the script. I don't think there was a plan. I think it kind of all came together after he had done this. It's like, okay, well, where can this story go next? It's like, oh, well, they're brother and sister. Like, at a certain point, it's like, oh, they're brother and sister. And I don't even think that was during Empire, because they fucking made out in Empire. Like, they were getting ready to fuck
when they're swinging across the thing, right? And
also in Empire, in the beginning of Empire, when he just gets out of the Bacta tube, Solo says something and then kisses on. Now, Lucas likes to say that he had this fucking plan the whole time, but he's sitting there like in a fucking Burger King, just like, this seems interesting. Yeah, well, I'll have Leia be Luke's brother, but they made out. Oh, people will just forget about that. That's fine. And it's like he did the same fucking shit with Episode 1.
You know good and doggone well that wasn't no brother-sister kiss. That's bull.
Oh no, that was
Donald. Oh no.
oh no. That's why I was like, man, that was so weird. You go from Empire Strikes Back, Last Jedi, and then you see that. It was like, what? Whoa.
Jesus Christ. But yeah, just to go over real quick, because we're kind of jumping a little bit, but I just wanted to throw in some knowledge on Empire Strikes Back real quick. So New Hope was made in 1977, or came out in 1977 in May. Empire Strikes Back came out in 1980. Was the sequel to A New Hope, and this film was directed by Irvin Kershner, written by Leah Brackett and Lawrence Kasdan. It was based on Lucas's story, but this, now you guys can tell me, whatever you want. This is by far the best out of all the Star Wars films. Empire Strikes Back,
yes,
for me is a well-rounded film.
I would agree.
Even the new ones?
Even the new ones. Jesus.
Sorry.
Empire Strikes Back was the second out of the Star Wars film series, and you're following Luke and Leia and Han in their antics. You meet Landau Calrissian, smoothest motherfucker in the galaxy, and then you get introduced to Yoda, the Jedi Master that trains Luke, and then Luke finds out he has a dad, and it's Darth Vader. Spoiler alert.
Do you guys remember who voiced Yoda?
Frank Oz.
There you go. And also the voice of Miss Piggy and Fozzie.
Mm-hmm. Frank Oz was a fucking jam, man. Han Solo, one of the best characters. You're also introduced to probably my favorite character of all time, Boba Fett.
Boba Fett. He's no good to me dead.
I don't know what it was about, because it was such a small part, but people became obsessed with him.
They love Boba Fett.
Boba,
and that always kind of confused me. I'm like, wait, like he was barely in the film. But
yeah, I don't know what it is about. I just like when he steps out of the shadows, man. Like, it just, I don't know. It's something, it's something about him, dude. I can't tell you what it is myself, but
I can't remember.
Oh, I see it now. I'm older, and of course, Mandalorian came out and kind of expanded the idea of him.
Mandalorian.
So now I get it.
Mandalorian is fucking wild, dude.
Well, I was gonna say Mandalorians didn't even exist when this movie came out. They had all that helmet, and then Lucas builds this mythos around this group of people, which I'm like, you start getting more tied into it, and the whole Brotherhood of Bounty Hunter, or whatever the hell it is. My other favorite character, which no one gives, and the thing is that I'm probably going to butcher this. I can't actually remember his name, but I think it's IG-88, the Bounty Hunter. So you saw it in Mandalorian, the guy that helped him out, the robot that was shooting all over the place.
Oh, yeah.
There was
the one that looked like a mantis?
Yeah.
One?
There was IG... you know what? I don't even know if it is IG-88. But there was one similar to it in Empire Strikes Back when they're showing all the bounty hunters. And then it's... what is it? I know Robot Chicken did something on it where the guy's like, the bounty's in the hunt, I always say.
That one? This guy?
Yep.
Yeah.
Is it IG-88? Oh, shit, man.
He's the one, if you watch Mandalorian, IG-88 is the one that gets reprogrammed to protect the child. And he's the one that goes all apeshit. I remember that.
Yep. But that robot, that droid is in Empire during...
What?
Yeah. It's not the same one, but it's like, how C-3PO is a certain type of droid. And
like a class.
Yep.
Yeah. I didn't... Okay. Damn, man. There's so many Easter eggs in all these things. I'm missing them. But real quick about New Hope, I know we're talking about Han Solo and we're talking about Empire Strikes Back, but it's one of the rare sequels that's better than the original as far as Empire Strikes Back, and I give it credit for that because I'm kind of glad that I watched that first because I don't know if I would have liked Star Wars as much as I do now if I had watched New Hope first.
Yeah.
To jump on Empire scenes that were in that, I would have to say favorite scenes. A lot of people would probably be like, oh, when Luke finds out that Darth Vader is his father. Mine was always when Princess Leia tells Han Solo, I love you. And then he's just like, Fuck, man, I know.
That's a good part.
My favorite part is when Landau sees Hans when they come to Cloud City.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then he's like, "Oh, hey, what up, everybody?" And then he sees Chewie. And
How you doing, Chewbacca?
his whole personality, it just elevates. It's like, well, damn, what the fuck were they doing back in the day? It's like he has this whole backstory with Chewie. Like, oh, Chewie, oh, that's my guy. But now that was my favorite because it seems like that's a story in itself. Like, I wish they would explore that at one point.
Some good news for people that Lucas Games now took back all the Star Wars stuff. EA, I think, doesn't have any of it anymore. Which, Battlefront 2, fucking garbage game. When it first came out, it got better over time. And then, what's the most recent Star Wars game that came out with...
the old, wasn't it?
Not Old
The
Republic.
dude that plays in Shameless is like...
Yeah, Fallen Order. That's what it is.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
That was pretty good.
Fallen Order.
And I'd like to see them expand on that. Actually, I'd like to see him in some of the upcoming shows. I think that'd be pretty interesting. But so, do you guys remember, and it was in 1995, where they re-released them in theaters, the special edition?
Yes. The ones where they updated the animation?
Yep. They updated the animation. There was computer animation.
That was a big deal, too, because Sci-Fi Channel was doing 24-hour coverage of that.
Yep.
I remember that. And Sci-Fi was just like, Star Wars is being re-released, and G. Willikers, it has updated animation, and it's going to be buck wild.
Audio. Remember that? Like,
shit. Well, they had, so I remember we got the VHSs that were the THX remastered versions, and then the special, right after that happened, which I think was probably 92 or 93 when those came out, the special edition came out, and I remember being in theaters to see A New Hope, and then 96 Empire came out, the special edition.
Was the special edition when they released Jabba coming from under the Millennium Falcon to talk to...
That footage was already shot back in the 70s.
Right, but this one was computer animated, so did they shoot over the original footage? Because Jabba is worming his way out, telling Han, like, hey, don't cross me, man. So originally, Jabba the Hutt was a man who looked like a Elizabethan fucking dude with like a cap and a fur vest. Yeah. And he's walking with them. So they were able to put Jabba in that. I remember that.
And the Jabba the Hutt in 95, we all thought looked great. Now, if you look back, it looks shitty. Like terrible. Yeah. And then they redid it again. Because Lucas can't help but, like, fucking twiddle his thumbs on everything and touch everything and redo everything. And what is it? The most recent, like, the Blu-ray Star Wars that came out, they added Darth Vader yelling no at the fucking end, or where, like, when Emperor's electrocuting Luke. And he goes, no! And then picks up.
Oh, they put that in there?
Yeah, fucking dumb as shit.
Or they put, I know they put Hayden Christensen in there when they're celebrating.
Makes no sense.
Indoor, and he's standing next to. It shouldn't have been him. It should have been the original.
Exactly.
Donald or Pleasance. It should have been Pleasance because he would not have looked the same.
No, Donald Pleasance. Donald Pleasance is he was in THX.
Oh yeah, so the original actor was of Darth Vader. I forget his name.
Didn't he just die recently?
That was the guy that was in the suit. We're talking about the old feeble white man at the end of Return of the Jedi.
No, I'm just saying that Dave Prowse. So the guy, because wouldn't Darth look older?
Yeah,
he wouldn't have looked like Hayden Christensen. And in the original ending, wasn't the actor Dave Prowse the Jedi ghost that was standing next to the other two? That's what I'm saying. They replaced it with Hayden Christensen, and I thought that was pointless.
My theory is that's when, he was a good person, so they wanted to like show that version of him.
Bullshit response.
No, it is bullshit, but that's my own little theory. Hey, like they didn't want to show him.
If we would have been at Comic-Con, that would have been Aaron's moment right there. Like, Aaron
excuse me,
that's horseshit,
Mr. Lucas. Excuse me, but that is complete and utter bullshit.
But that's what makes these series so great, is that
We're opinionated.
they have, yeah, I mean, well, the fact that you can argue a point, like to have these discussions about a series that takes a life of its own, where your interpretation of the end of the story is different from another fan, but you can both be united in your fandom. But you know, when you create something like this, you have to be careful, because you got some people who take it to a whole new level.
My issue is with Lucas, which most of the fans have a problem with George Lucas, because if you see behind the scenes of the making of the Phantom Menace and Attack of the Clones, he's just like, you know, we're gonna do it this way, and but this is what I meant originally. And if someone says like what Don was saying, where he's like, yeah, you know, I just thought that's when he was good. He's like, yeah, that's exactly what I meant. Yep, you took it for what it was.
So I helped him out, hon, with my own imagination.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. So yeah, like I said, it takes on a life of its own, and I think that your 1995 mention should be noted that there were lines around the corners to movie theaters to buy those tickets. People were in costume. I mean, it was so unreal to see that at such a young age, because 1995, when they did the re-release, I believe it was 95 or 96.
It was 95. The reason why he did it was because Steven Spielberg came out with Jurassic Park and was like, I wanted to redo it.
So they did the re-release with the new footage, and people lost their minds. They really did. I mean, they were going in costume. Like, I think if they did the same thing for Jurassic Park, like Jurassic Park, how old is Jurassic Park now? 30 something?
90.
it was 93. Right?
Yeah, so it's almost
27?
30 years old. Wait, no.
Yeah. So if they did a re-release of Jurassic Park at the movie theaters, do you think it would have the same effect as Star Wars?
If they redid
people would
it,
be lining up,
or
not a remake, but just a re-release
with better.
They updated some of the. Yeah, I mean, they made it more up to date, not changed anything, but made the animation match today's technology.
I think if you started doing that, you're going to have an issue with a lot of films.
Yeah.
The fact that Lucas did it set a precedent. They saw what it did to him, though. The fact that he kept going back, like the special edition, we were all excited about. Now, as you go further on, and you see all the things all the changes that he was making, now it's just a running joke. So I think if Spielberg did it, I'd be interested to see it. I'd probably see it. Do I love the original Jurassic Park? Yeah, I don't think you can beat, like, my whole thing is it's the same thing with Lord of the Rings. If you look at Lord of the Rings compared to The Hobbit, I think The Hobbit is shit because all they used was computer animation and everything.
If I'm being honest, you'll never get that same quality and wonder from me when it comes to that movie. What I mean is Lord of the Rings stands the test of time.
Yeah.
The Hobbit is just a lot of animation.
Exactly.
It's
Green
very
screen.
hard to enjoy. Yeah, it's very hard to enjoy it because it looks like everything is fake. So I agree with you on that. But I still like The Hobbit. But, you know, if you want my true feelings, watch The Hobbit 1980-something.
Rake and Bass?
The Rake and Bass. Yeah. I love that Hobbit.
It's fucking
dude.
great.
I sit back and... Yeah, it wasn't nowhere near the book, but oh boy, I'll sit and watch that like it's no tomorrow.
Yeah. No, that's fucking great. Like, what is it, Smog and everything. But yeah, my whole point is like with the updated computer animation, you're going to see more and more movies like that. And for me, I like the Star Wars. You can't shoot in space, of course, but
no,
like the fact how they were able to do these sets and whatnot, they were awesome. Lord of the Rings, the fact that they were shooting in New Zealand and they used the space that they had and put, you know, what is it? Computer animation was a secondary thought. All that CGI stuff was a secondary thought to the script and the actual locations and the acting. That's why I have such a problem with The Hobbit, all three of those movies, because it was a cash grab and you could see it because it was all studio, all computer animation.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. That's all it was.
Find new episodes every Wednesday where you listen to podcasts. And look for us on all the social media sites and Gmail at After School Special Podcast at Gmail, After School Special Podcast at Instagram and Facebook, and After School SPE3 on Twitter.
There are 2 rules to remember if you want to have a good time. Rule number 1, never run out of Colt 45. Rule number 2, never forget rule number 1.